B1 family, welcome to Black Logic. Today we'll be honoring a legend, a football hero, someone who went through many trials and tribulations throughout their life, but nonetheless was a foundational Black American that was falsely accused of many things, and some things he was guilty in, but we're honoring his life, not his trials, not his tribulations, even though we will remember those things because that ultimately was OJ. We take a closer look in this first segment at the unstoppable football journey of OJ Simpson, from his high school days to his greatness in the NFL. OJ's achievements and accolades in the world of football are truly remarkable, and his impact on the game is undeniable. Starting off as a standout player in high school, OJ quickly caught the attention of a college scout with his speed, agility, and his incredible vision on the field. His success at USC paved the way for a successful transition to the NFL, where he was drafted first overall by the Buffalo Bills in 1969. OJ wasted no time making a name for himself in the NFL, rushing for over 1,000 yards in his rookie season and earning the name The Juice for his electrifying playing style. Throughout his career, he continued to break records and earn accolades, including NFL MVP award and multiple Pro Bowl selections. One of OJ's most notable achievements was his 2,003-yard season in 1973, a record that stood for over a decade and showcased his unmatched skill and determination on the field. His impact on the game of football and the broader cultural landscape cannot be understated, as he became one of the first Black American athletes to transcend sports and become a household name. Despite the controversies that will later surround his life, OJ football legacy remains untarnished. His incredible talent, work ethic, and dedication to the game continue to inspire generation of football players to this day. So we're going to take a journey down memory lane and remembering OJ Simpson. Now you got the juice. Our story begins on the fields of Galileo High School in San Fran, where OJ Simpson was first showcased his prodigious talent. It wasn't long before he became a local legend, setting records left and right and earning himself a scholarship to the University of Southern California. At USC, Simpson's star continued to rise because in 1968, he led the nation in rushing yards, capturing the coveted Heisman Trophy and solidifying his status as a generational talent. But with his transcendent performance in 1967, game of the century against UCLA that truly cemented his legacy, fast forward a little here, because 1969, and as we look at these things, family, we're looking at the true talent of one of the greatest running backs to ever play this game. And that's one thing we truly have to understand, the things that OJ has done. Okay. He became famous for football because in 1969 NFL draft, where the Buffalo Bills made history by selecting OJ as the first overall pick, and let me tell you, he did not disappoint. OJ Simpson was a beast on the field. He cannot be stopped. I believe up until that point, OJ Simpson not only was a force to be reckoned with, shattering records and redefining what it meant to be a running back in the NFL, because also in 1973, he became the first player to rush for over 2,000 yards in a single season. And before then, family, no one thought no running back could ever in a lifetime in a football season could rush for over 2,000 yards, because it's never been done until OJ did it. A feat that still stands as one of the greatest achievements in football history. And I think there's only been a couple people, and the only thing I can recall is ED that done it as well. But it wasn't just his stats that made Simpson legendary. It was his ability to make the impossible look effortless. Whether it was hurling defenders, jerking past linebackers, or simply outrunning everyone on the field, OJ Simpson was a sight to behold. And let's not forget about this impact off the field. Simpson's charisma and star power helped elevate the NFL to new heights, as well as Black NFL players. Don't forget, OJ Simpson was not a small man. He was a statue of a man, but he paved the way of these future athletes. He was more than just a football player. He was a cultural icon. But as we well know, Simpson's story took a dark turn in 1994 with his infamous trial for the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. While we won't dive into details, we will cover it. Is it possible to discuss O.J. Simpson without acknowledging the controversy that surrounds him? Of course we can. We can keep it strictly football, but we're going to honor his life in all the three segments that we've seen him. For those of you who are maybe new to O.J., but not new to OJ. You're new to his football, but old to his trial, or vice versa, or all of the above. But in the end, OJ Simpson's football career remains a testament to the power of sheer talent and determination. Despite the controversies and the scandals, his impact on the game of football is undeniable. He may have fallen from grace to a certain degree in his life, but his legend will forever live on the annals of sports history, and especially foundational Black Americans. So the story of O.J. Simpson starts with football prodigy, record breaker, and cultural icon. So as we move to the next segment, and these are just major segments, of course, O.J. had all sorts of things what that was not public, but we're covering those very vivid public things that came to notice of people knowing OJ outside of football. And as we transition here, we have to understand that a man of OJ talent, a man of OJ stature, this wasn't going to go unnoticed, family. And so we must cover this as we see this. Because even in the white supremacy society that we live today, there's a lot of people in that society, and some Blacks as well, still believe OJ did it, even though he was proven in a court of law to be innocent. Well, in 1994, the nation was griped by the brutal murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. The media frenzy surrounding the case painted OJ Simpson as a prime suspect from the get-go. But let me tell you, my friends, the truth is far more complex than what the tabloids would have believed. Now, let's talk about the evidence. The infamous glove. Remember Johnny Cochran? Purportedly found at the crime scene and later at OJ's estate. It seems as though OJ was set up. Now, OJ was a football player, was a running back. He had very large hands. Now, it became a focal point of the prosecution case, but what failed to mention was a tampering and mishandling of evidence, casting doubt on its integrity. Okay, so they did a lot of things wrong. But furthermore, let's not overlook the racial bias that permeated every aspect of the trial. O.J. Simpson, a prominent Black man, was portrayed as a villain by the predominantly white media and legal system. It was a trial, not just one man, but of an entire community struggle for justice in the face of systematic oppression. Anytime a high-figure Black person is on trial, family, just know that the Black community is on trial. Doesn't mean that we all will be guilty and go to jail, but we are all being persecuted. Let that sink in. Now, when we talk about the defense, the brilliant mind behind OJ's acquittal, our brother who passed away, honor to him as well and his family, Johnny Cochran. This man was a legal titan, waving a narrative of doubt and exposing the flaws in the prosecution case, because his iconic line, "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit," became a rallying cry for those seeking truth and justice, was it not? For those who were around during this time, you totally understand what I'm referring to, because Cochran and his team meticulously dissected every piece of evidence, exposing the inconsistencies and planting seeds of doubt in the minds of the jurors. And let's not forget about the racial context of the case, where Cochran brilliantly leveraged a history of police brutality against Black Americans to cast doubt on the integrity of the investigation. So, in the end, despite the overwhelming pressure and media scrutiny, the jury delivered a verdict: not guilty. If it does not fit, you must acquit. You got the juice now. And while some may still harbor doubts, the truth remains: OJ Simpson was innocent. Innocent not just of the crimes he was accused of, but also being a pawn in a larger game of racial prejudice and injustice. They try to frame OJ. Remember, fam, justice may be blind. That's a joke. But it's not deaf to the cries of the oppressed. And as we honor the legacy of our brother OJ Simpson as well as Johnny Cochran, but we have to honor that justice was served in the way it was meant to be. So let's not forget the lessons learned from the trial of OJ Simpson. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. See, in this picture, June 17, 1994, the airwaves are buzzing with breaking news. OJ Simpson, former NFL superstar and actor, is on the run. But why? Just days early on June 12th, Simpson's ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman were brutally murdered outside her condo in Brentwood, California. And all eyes turned to OJ. And this is why this occurred. See, a lot of times people put these in chronological order. You know how I do it, family. Sometimes I like to mix it up a little bit. But let's talk about the motive. The prosecution claimed jealousy and rage drove Simpson to commit the murders. He is not even speeding, as you see, family. He just moseying along, thinking about what's going on. His wife was just murdered. A lot of things were occurring. They painted a picture of a man consumed by possessiveness, unable to handle the thought of Nicole being with another man. And when you dig into the details, reports of domestic violence, a very chaotic relationship, and a history of possessive behavior, all pointing to a powder keg waiting to explode. Simpson didn't just sit around waiting for the police to come knocking. No, he hit the road in his white Ford Bronco, which became one of the most famous vehicles for anyone to own at the time. And especially today, when the Bronco came back out and they revamped, remodernized the Bronco, let me tell you, no Black people buying a Bronco. There's a bunch of other people buying a Bronco. Let's just say that. And see, when things started to get surreal, the whole world watched as the police chased the Bronco for over 2 hours, cruising down freeway at a very snail pace. So they couldn't even get the brother for speeding. Now let's talk mental state. Can you imagine the pressure, the scrutiny? This wasn't just any car chase. It was a spectacle. And in some regards, family, this wasn't a car chase. This was a car follow. You see that, family? They're just following along. They stand at a safe distance. They're probably around 4 to 6 car lengths away. Let's go 6 to 8. 6 to 8 car lengths away. But here was a man who had it all: fame, fortune, adoration. And now all of a sudden he was a fugitive because they believe, allegedly, that OJ Simpson murdered 2 people. Now, fleeing from the very law he once upheld on the football field, as the chase unfolded, so did the media frenzy. Now, helicopters buzz around here, capturing every twist and turn. And let's not forget the millions of viewers glued to their TV screen, captivated by the slow walk, the slow drive, and the follow of the California policemen. But they were trying to make it more than what it was. And a lot of you may ask this question: so why did OJ jump into the Bronco and hit the road? I don't know. Maybe it was fear. Maybe it was stress. Maybe it was all of the above. Maybe it was desperation. Or maybe, just maybe, it was the action of a man who knew he was about to lose everything on the framing of his friend as well as his wife. And I don't really think Ron Goldman was his friend. I think it was more of an association. But here's the thing, family. The Bronco chase wasn't just a footnote in OJ Simpson saga. It was a reflection of a society grappling with the issue of race, fame, and justice. They hate to see a Black man on top. They hate to see a Black woman on top. And this is why they try to bring you down at every chance they can imagine. Just think about you on your job working for corporate America. Things are going quite well, but you're quiet. You do your work. You present when you need to present. You have great presentations. But outside of that, I won't say you keep your head down. You keep your head up, but you just don't have much to say outside of work. And they always probing. Dante, are you okay today? I'm perfectly fine. Oh, Dante, you want to come out to golf with us this weekend? No, I'm fine. I have plans. Dante, you want to meet us in lunchroom and have some things to eat? No, I'm just fine. I think there's a problem with Dante. I think we need to get right on that and see what's going on. This is what happens, family. So when I look at the OJ trial, when I look at the OJ followed, not Chase, when I look at the greatness of OJ, it just reminds me of every other black man that had in his life a grateful place, a fall from grace. And then instead of being revamped, renovated, and rejuvenated to his place once again, they try to suppress the information and evidence and to denigrate him and denigrate the black race by the way of proxy of OJ Simpson. So when we look at these things, and as we reflect on the fateful day, let's not forget OJ. Rest in power, our brother OJ, at the age of 76. And in February, when given the opportunity of someone saying that he was in hospice, he said, "No, I'm throwing a party." I don't know if any of you guys saw that, but our brother OJ, they were trying to say things about OJ, stating that he was on hospice, that he wasn't in his right frame of mind, that things wasn't going well, but he proved that was a lie as well. So, family, as we remember and we walk down memory lane of OJ Simpson, an NFL Hall of Famer, an NFL breaker, and as well the infamous OJ murder trial that he was acquitted on because he was found not guilty. We have to remember not only what OJ has done, but who OJ was. And we honor you, our brother. We understand that in our lives that many trials and tribulation, many tough times will come our way. Many adversities will come our way for just being black in America. And regardless of what people may think you did or did not do, it was proven in a court of law that you was innocent. And if you're innocent there, believe me, you're innocent everywhere. And that doesn't mean that our black and our black men and our black women who are incarcerated right now, that doesn't mean they're even guilty. And there are some are guilty, there are some who are not guilty, because the Innocent Project stating that the most exonerated people who have been proven with hardcore evidence by the way of DNA are black Americans. So we understand that we get wrongfully accused, wrongfully prosecuted, and wrongfully imprisoned for decades for crimes we did not commit. So our brother OJ, Juice, we honor you. We honor your past. We honor your present. And we honor your passing. Rest in power, OJ. Be one.